Coming to you straight from the Rio Grande and beyond. Broadcasting to the four corners of the globe. So grab your seat, your coffee, or your sundowner.
Okay, everybody, here we go.
On point, as always. This is Gloves Off. Gloves Off.
So when I was working on Selena, the series for Netflix, to play the role of Abraham Quintanilla, I put on a specific amount of weight, which I was fine doing, but also realizing it could be difficult to get that weight off. I got back into my physical regimen with James Leha, but I was still having trouble with just those last amounts. And that's when I got to meet Arturo from Laredo Medical Weight Loss Clinic. And just the products that he gave me kind of put me over the edge. I feel great about myself.
Back at you and gloves off. I'm here with a good brother of mine, another Kempoist, Sifu Mark Schiffman, and we're touching base on the importance of self-defense, especially with women. When they should start learning, should they learn at a young age? It's never too late to learn, number one. But, how we doing, brother? You doing good?
Yes, sir. Doing great. How about you?
Good. How about how's everything over there in Philly?
Really good. It was raining all week, and the weekend it cleared right up. It's nice and sunny out, only like 80 degrees. So I was next door helping the landlord feed the cows and got my weightlifting in for the day. So now we're ready to go.
Yeah, here today was 107. So you can,
oh my goodness,
fire. But
yeah.
It's typical here in South Texas.
Yeah,
it's way.
Okay.
Here's a question. Here's something that many hours asked, and they say, is there a difference between women's self-defense, men's self-defense? It's the same training. What martial art should I do? What should we do? So, and I'm going to put it down this way. To me, the best self-defense art is Kempo, American Kempo.
Mm-hmm.
What we learn. I think to me that's the pinnacle of it. Even though there's a lot of others that are very well done and manicured, right? But I think that's what it was for.
Yeah.
There's
Yep. And we all want to think our art is the ultimate. And the last time we had this discussion, it was, we steal things from everybody and then we make it better. So, and there's enough in Kempo that you can take any little aspect of it and go deeper into it. So, kick, punch, block, that's basic karate. Get into that. That's great if you're on your feet and you're at that distance with your hands up. A little bit closer, then you've got your knees and elbows, and you can call that Muay Thai. A little bit closer, you've got your what Kempo calls contact manipulation, which everybody else calls short locks, wrist locks, your jiu-jitsu. So when I introduce the concept of women's self-defense, I start off with that commandments of self-defense. And the first one is accept the fact that there are real dangers out there. Of all the crazy times we have lived through, this is the craziest time I've ever seen in my entire life. I mean, you cannot drive down the street with somebody trying to carjack you. It's insane. So, and I've had discussions with women, and I'm trying to talk this girl, hey, you're married, you got children, you got to protect yourself. And she actually said to me, well, that's not my reality. And I said, well, I don't think the bad guys share your opinion of that. So you need to do some training. So the first concept, accept the fact that there are real dangers out there. The second most important one is environmental awareness. And I like to ask questions because I like to work people's brains as much as their body. So typically, if you ask somebody, what is your environment? The typical answer is your surroundings, what's around you. That's only 1/3 of it. And I also tell people that self-defense goes way beyond fighting. Self-defense is, do you keep half a tank of gas in your car in the wintertime? Because you just might have to spend the night in there. Do you have emergency equipment in your car? I have protein bars in my car. I have a trauma kit in my car because I've come across motorcycle accidents out in the middle of nowhere. And, do you want to stop the bleeding till the professionals get there? Lately, I've discovered things like how many times you see people walking down the street with their nose in the phone and they just walk right into traffic, or they walk into a building, or they walk into a fountain. That's my favorite one. So, hey, then I think I'm the only one with a headset on the planet. Get your head out of your phone, okay? Put your phone, because again, a lot of robbers these days, they see you on the phone, they walk up and they grab your phone. The other common place is the train platform.
Sure.
People pushing you into the train, grabbing your stuff and just disappearing into the crowd. So, hey, keep your hands in, keep your eyes on a swivel, and be aware of your environment. With that goes your situational awareness. So obviously, if you're sitting in the car with your friends, it's not quite the same as if you're sitting on the train platform or you're walking to your car late at night and you're all alone. So the second part of that is after environmental awareness, or after the three elements of environmental awareness: what's around you, what's on you, and what's in you. So, obviously your surroundings are. I don't know about you. If I go to the movies, I want the aisle seat closest to the exit. If I walk into a restaurant I've never been to, I want to know where the nearest exit is. Not because I'm paranoid, but if the ceiling starts to fall down suddenly, I want to be able to get out as quick as I can. Again, going to the cars, where do you park your car? Park as close as you can. Luckily, a lot of parking lots have cameras now, but that's after the fact. So around you, what's on you? What's on you is, do you carry anything that can be used as a weapon, or do you carry weapons? I don't promote carrying weapons. I don't dissuade people from carrying weapons. What I say is, you choose whatever weapon you want to carry, but whatever it is, train with it and learn how to use it properly. Whether it's a knife or a gun or pepper spray or a stun gun, practice, learn how to use it. Because again, people buy those little things of pepper spray, stick it on their keychain, which they can't find at the bottom of their purse or buried in their pocket. It's not going to do you any good. And how many people spray themselves because they've never trained with it? And especially knives and firearms. Mr. Planet is really big on, when we do knife defense, that guy didn't pull that knife out because he doesn't like knives. And unless you're prepared for that, just a psychological intimidation is going to get you. One of my favorite stories to tell is, I was actually at the funeral of one of my students' fathers, and we were at the luncheon, and his wife leans over and says, "Hey, you want to see my new gun?" I said, "Sure." So she like digs through her purse and goes, "Look, here it is." It's like, "Great. I have to get into it in a hurry." And then comes in the compromise between concealment and accessibility, and if you have kids at home and all that other crazy stuff. Again, lots of information out there way beyond my pay grade, but whatever weapon you choose to carry, learn how to use it, train with it. And when you're done training, train some more with it, because when you're in a panic, and we both know this, when the adrenaline starts pumping, you're not going to think, okay, let me clear the holster. No, you're going to, whoa, and just react. So, last one
and,
is,
and you said something there that's very, very, it's a key point. You're going to react. And the way you train, I always tell people this. I go, I don't care how long you've been training. As soon as you walk out the door, you're already in the negative 20. You're starting. There's a lot of things that can occur back outside. So every time you train at your 100%. So if you're 100%, it's 20% sloppy. Well, guess what? You're already in the negative, so you're going to be further down. So there's a lot of things that occur out there, and you said some excellent things, especially with situational awareness.
Mm-hmm.
Where you park your car, how you park your car, where you have your keys, when do you grab your keys out of your purse? Because if you're talking on the phone, I was driving down through the mall because the other day with one of the malls that we have here. Mm-hmm. And this lady just walked right in the middle of a car, almost hit her, because she was just looking at the phone.
Yep.
Understood. We had to get away, but you were this far from getting your hip broken, and regardless of, he's gonna get the ticket and so on and so forth, but it was your fault. You know what I'm saying? And now you're damaged for life. Exactly.
Yep. I cannot emphasize that enough. And it's not just kids doing it. I see older people doing it.
Yes. Yep. Texting while driving. What have you encountered over in your area with women in self-defense, and what they want, and who's looking for that, and what are the demographics? What type of women? Because here we usually get the woman that something happened for her to go search for it.
Mm-hmm. Usually it's with when I say kids, I mean anybody under 18. It's usually a a bullying problem. With adults, it's an ex-boyfriend or an ex-husband. And the horror stories I hear about ex-husbands, oh, we have an order of protection. Well, lots of guys in jail for killing ex-wives who had an order of protection. It's a piece of paper. That's it. So that's most of it. And that's what I really have to stress environmental awareness. Moms especially have a radar. They'll be looking. And the last aspect of self-defense is what's in you. If you've got a gut full of NyQuil, that's not a good night to get into a fight. I personally don't drink, so I can be everybody's designated drunk. And people, when I tell people I don't drink, they ask me if I used to be an alcoholic. I said no, but I was once in a situation where I wasn't drunk, but I was slow. And I don't remember the specifics. I just remember there was a potential for disaster. And I thought, if that happens, I'm not going to be able to react fast. Something about it. And that's when I decided that's it. That, and when I went to Parker's funeral, I found out he was a Mormon and he didn't drink. And I said, the universe is trying to tell me something. So that was kind of interesting. So again, that goes with your situational awareness. You go out with your friends, you're having a good time. You should have a designated driver just keep their eyes open for everybody. And I don't mind doing that.
Yeah,
it's where a lot of it comes in. And I watch these YouTube videos all the time where people just seriously standing there minding their own business, and somebody just walks up. Usually they got their nose buried in their phone or they're distracted. And it should be natural if somebody comes in to your effective range that you react to it. You don't have to just turn your head. And that's your first line of self-defense. Recognize that, hey, I see you following me. And that's about 10%. 10% of people go, oh, they saw me. I'm done.
Absolutely.
The latest ones are the abductions. I keep seeing these kids walking home from school. A van pulls up, somebody jumps out, tries to grab the kid. The two I saw, the kid did run away. I followed her all the way down the street, and the van followed her. Thank God she got away. One of my students actually did get carjacked. It's a van full of family in a van full of kids. This guy just jumps in and starts driving the van away with all the kids in it. So my student who's in the backseat, I think was 13, jumps up and starts pounding on his head. So he finally gave up and pulled the car over. But that's another thing. You don't leave the kids in the car. You don't leave the car running. You don't leave the keys in the car. All the stuff should be common sense. That should be
avoided. It should be common sense. That's exactly what we have to get back to the common sense. Yep. We have to understand where everything's at. Here, in the sense of with kids, like you said, most of them, they call because they're being bullied at school.
Yep.
I don't get kids that want to come in because they want to learn. I get kids now is because the mom calls that little Billy, little Johnny's getting beat up at school and bullied at school.
But they come in with that, and again, they'll get what we say, get the bug. Then it's like, oh, there's more to this than just fighting. Yes, there's the culture, there's the camaraderie, there's the achievement, and there's the self-confidence. And that's where a lot of it comes from. How many times have we gotten out of a fight just by saying, no, you're not going to hurt me? And I go, oh, because they're not looking for easy targets. And when you show that you're not an easy target, that's it. I was just telling a yellow belt about this. Your first karate lesson, you get out there, hope I don't get beat up. You train for a while, it's like, hope I don't get beat up. What's the difference? A little bit of training is like, I might get beat up, but not that terrifying, gut-wrenching feeling. Oh my God, I'm going to get hurt. Yeah, it might. I love telling this story. I was years ago, and the head of the conductor was telling us about fighting out into the bar, and he was minding his own business. Some guy just punched him in the face, and he looked up and he goes, and he was bleeding, and he goes, I'm bleeding. And he looked at the guy and he said, he just started laughing. The guy said, what are you laughing at? He said, I go through more of this on a daily basis than you can ever give me. And that's what I tell the kids, the more you sweat in peace, the less you bleed in war. So whatever you're going through in here, it should be a joke, what you do out there where somebody doesn't know what they're doing.
Absolutely. And that's what we get with the kids now. Before it was kids that really actually wanted to learn how to defend themselves. They were the ones that were searching for it. Now they're being drugged in. They drag them inside. It's a different mentality nowadays. Now, for women, like we said, it's usually they've gone through an experience, they've experienced something, maybe a stalk, maybe some type of aggressive motion. But there's a lot more stuff to that than that. But you have to give. I keep telling all of them, you have to put your time in for you to learn this forward. The problem with the martial arts that like Campo and Savant, they give you self confidence very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And when self confidence comes in to play, because you can perform, what happens? They say, I don't need this anymore because I'm already confident enough to do it.
Right.
And that's when the dangers come of age.
Yes, we call that false. Just like people say, I'm going to buy a gun and then I won't be scared anymore. Yes, you will. You're going to be exactly as scared as you were before. Just like when you're training, people think if I'm trained, I won't be scared. Yes, you will. You're going to be just as scared. The difference is that fear is not going to freeze your action. Instead of going, it's like, here we go. And the confidence of, yeah, you might get beat up. Just like all the wars going, it's not necessarily, but you're going to make it so costly for the other side, they're going to quit. That's what so if the guy grabs you and you start banging on him, poking him in the eye, kicking him in the groin, he's going to back up because whatever he wants is not worth it. It's not worth going through all of it. Even making noise, they don't want to attract attention to themselves. So there's generally anything they can do, whether it's walking away, running, yelling, screaming. That's why back on the car, I keep the fob in my hand because what a lot of people don't realize is you got that panic button on your key fob. You push that button and the alarm goes off and the lights start flashing. I like to see that in a carjacking situation. Just push that button. Now they got all this attention. Something's going to help you out.
Absolutely. Those are some great points. And there's a lot of martial arts out there, a lot of great martial arts out there. But I said in the beginning was what we've been through and what we've trained in, and you see it because it teaches you so many different things in the different situations that are out there, and that's what you need to do. You have to train in a lot of different situations for you to understand what's there.
Yes,
because
and that's the nice thing about training is the nice thing about the internet. One of the few good things about it is you can exchange these ideas and look at how people train. It's not just that they're training, it's how they train. Okay, I want to train for multiple attacks, or I want to train for limitations. Okay, I'm sitting down, I'm between a pillar, I'm against a wall. So that a lot. I pull the bags out. We got 6 giant wave bags. We just pull them out in different configurations. Okay, get in the middle. I think my favorite one is, okay, you start there. See that door over there? You got to fight your way to the door. And, you want to do a controlled environment, but the kids love that stuff. Now, I had to do this thing where we're working on bear hugs, front and rear bear hugs. How do the kids do the bear hugs? I don't want to touch this person. So I learned this drill where if you really, what are they trying to do? Why are they grabbing you in a bear hug? They're probably trying to pick you up and carry you somewhere. So you grab her and pick her up and carry her over to that line. Okay, before you go, and I tell the other one, if he succeeds in carrying you over that line, you got to do 5 push-ups. Okay, and you don't let him carry you over the line. If she breaks your grip, you got to do 5 push-ups. So no matter what happens, somebody's have a consequence. But all of a sudden, everybody's doing the attack right. They're picking them up and they're going across the floor with them. And then you take it to the next level. Okay, they succeeded in picking you up. Now what? Well, you wrap your leg around so they can't bend their knee. Now they can't walk forward. What have you got? Well, my arms are free. Clap their ears, poke them in the eye. My arms are pinned. Boom, I still got the headbutt, still got the groin. So we can work those different levels. I don't show the kids how to poke them in the eye, kick them in the groin, but just get your knee up there. But the idea of doing the attacks more realistically is really the difference, and you make a game, and that makes it fun. And what I say to the parents is they accidentally learn something. That's why if they are attacked, they're not in a panic. It's like, oh, gee, I hit the ground. Oh, I know what to do. I can roll around and stand up. So it's what we want to condition reflex. Even if they get caught off, go bam. Oh, now my hands are up. So when we're doing drill, and how many people do this? You're doing a drill, whatever it is, a slip drill, and they get hit and they stop. Oh, do it again. No, he's not going to do it again. Even if you get hit, do the drill. So you're used to, you still carry through with the drill.
Absolutely. Yeah. Those are some great ideas for people to go out there and start training. And and I tell this to everybody, and especially those of you guys who are listening out here, start training. Doesn't matter, if you can't find Kempo, if you can't find Savat, train in a martial art you can find in your place. Start training with something. And martial arts should get you to where you're should get you to where, but I say should because the other half is what you have to put into it. You have to put into your training.
Right.
You yourself have to show up to train.
Yeah.
And you can enroll in any school, but if you're not going to train, you're not going to be on the mat.
Right. Yeah. And it's not just learning the moves. Your body has to be in a condition to pull those moves off. Again, Planet says this, I can show you how to do something in 5 minutes. It might take a year to perfect it. How good do you want to be? So that's the interesting things about the Japanese karate, which is one punch, one kill. And that's all they practice is block and punch. That's all they need. So, yeah, it's great. If the guy's in front of you and you got your hands up, things are a little bit different now. So you have to learn how to use it from its different limitations.
Absolutely.
And that's
absolutely
fun.
I didn't hear you. What?
That's what makes it fun. The different ways. Hey, you got that one? Good. We were doing one the other day. What was it? Like we were just standing there doing a reverse punch on the back or doing a rear choke. Great. You want to step back? You want to step forward? Let's do it with your back against the wall. Okay. They jacked you up against the wall or the ATM machine. Now what are you going to do? You don't have that distance. You're out of depth. What do? Well, you still got width. Oh, you still use torque. Yeah. You still got 3 dimensions, height, width. So again, put those limitations in there, and it really makes a big difference. And again, that's where it's fun and where we get to say, yeah, it's the same but different.
Absolutely. And the different variations that exist, you have to open up your mind to the difference of the attacks that are there. And that, I think, is what people need to understand. You can train in the ring, you can train in boxing, you can train in the portion of what Buitron says, you can train in MMA. But the situations in the street are different.
Yep. That's why
the ring art is one thing. I'm not saying you can't defend yourself in the street.
Yes.
I'm saying that the street has different situations.
Yeah. There's no referee to say stop. You're not matched by weight class. And it's almost the opposite. You're somebody who wants to hurt you and they don't care what happens to them. That's why with a lot of the attacks that are happening around the world, it's like, how do you defeat an enemy that's not afraid to die?
You're absolutely correct. I heard this one time when we were doing security way back when, and the guy turns around and says, "Listen, I'm not afraid of wearing orange."
Yeah.
He wasn't afraid of going to prison. He had been there before. He goes, "I'm not afraid of wearing orange." When he said that, I kept that in the back of my head, and I said, "Okay, there's people out here that really don't care."
Yeah. There's for a while, people were putting hats on, and the hat said FBI or kind of T-shirts that said security, and they weren't either one of them. And what I never realized was they never considered somebody wanted to do harm to this environment. You're the first one they're going to take out. You just drew attention to yourself as being prepared. They're going to take you out first. That's why I heard this today. This guy was commenting on something. He goes, yeah, I got this gun and that gun, and I got a carry permit. It's like, why would you broadcast that? I saw a guy.
I see that a lot, and especially I'm going to just side off a little bit on tangent on open carry and concealed carry. Both are fine.
Yep.
In Texas, we got both.
Yes.
And you have, depending on where you go with an open carry. You go to Starbucks and you have a bunch of people that don't like, guns, the Second Amendment, and you show up with an open carry, and somebody starts claiming that you have a gun. You just became a target of something that you didn't want to get into. The police are going to, and guess what? They're going to give you BS about it, and you're right. But just because you went into a place that more likely you're going to meet somebody that does not like the Second Amendment. I didn't say at all. More than likely, somebody's going to be there. They start, and all of a sudden, now you became the bad guy, and you're not even the bad guy.
Yep.
So you have to understand where you're at.
Yes. Know your audience. Right. Well,
absolutely.
Here's what I was taught. Open carry is legal, but is it a good idea?
Absolutely.
Again, you don't want to walk through saying, "Yeah, I'm a black belt. Don't mess with me." No, you never let the opponent know what you got, because again, you're going to be targeted. In some instances, I can see it would put people off that might be considered robbing the place, and they walk in, they see it hanging out. Maybe I'll try somewhere else. Do you know where most of the I think just about all the school shootings where they occurred?
I didn't hear you. What?
The school shootings. Guess where they occurred? In gun-free zone.
Absolutely. Yeah, all of them. Gun-free zone.
Yeah. Bad guys don't understand laws. People don't seem to understand that. Bad guys don't understand laws. That's why they're bad guys.
And that's what happens. So people, you need to understand, be vigilant. Number one, you touch base on what awareness is. We're speaking the same language. Understand where you're at, your situational awareness, where you're at. Where am I going to? Understand, and I'm still the same. I guess you can call me old school, but if somebody told me, hey, we're going to go over there because a friend told us to go to that club, that bar, I wouldn't go. I'll go eat somewhere else.
Yeah.
I'm just, that way, and,
I'll go, but if it's a secret place, I just keep my eyes open. Right? Oh, look at that. Look, there's no exit. But I get it.
I'm always into that. And I tell the young guys, when I mean young guys, it's 18-year-old to about 25. The guys that are out there dating, picking up this, going out here. Be careful where you go to. Sometimes a friend of yours knows that you're training, and he's gonna want you to go someplace to beat up somebody that he's been getting picked on, that he doesn't have the gall enough to go train, and you're going to be the one that's going to be defending him. Right. And that happens all the time.
Oh yeah, he thinks he's safe because you're going to protect him. I remember, again, I was in that age bracket at the bar, and I see this guy. I went with a friend, and I said, "What are you doing?" "I want to get you in a fight." I said, "Why?" He said, "I want to see you in action." I said, "If you start a fight, you're fighting by yourself." What? That changed his whole attitude. Start something, you're on your own.
You have to be careful, especially for the young guys out there. Be careful you hang around with, because sometimes somebody's going to want you to do their fight for you. It happened to me, and it happened to everybody. Yeah. And if you know that you train, they're gonna take you someplace, and they're gonna have you be the fighter, because they're afraid to learn how to fight.
Right.
It happens.
Yep. And I've seen women do the same thing.
Yeah, they'll do the same thing. Usually what that happens is, you know what? It's cut off, and sign, never talk to you again. That's just the way it is.
I had a female training with kickboxing, absolutely gorgeous girl. Calls me up one day and said, "I'm not going to be in for a while." I said, "Why?" I said, "My yeah." And I said, "Did you call the police?" "Oh, my fault. You typical battered woman syndrome." I said, "It's never your fault. I don't care what you did. You don't deserve that. If you're still banged up, you can't come in here. This guy needs to be in jail." So anyway, she finally moved out and said, "Hey, this band is playing at this bar. Why don't you come down? I'll meet you there." Okay. So she introduces me to the drummer. Short little guy with a little ponytail, greasy hair. "This is my ex-boyfriend. This is my karate instructor." I'm looking at this guy saying, "Let this little jerk beat you up." She was a tough chick. I mean, she was hard. She was there just at everything. So she moves out, and then she said she's got to go back and get her stuff. And I said, "Don't go alone. Did you hear that? Don't go alone. He's not going to be there. Did you hear me? Don't go alone." Get a phone call the next day. Guess what happened? Showed up, started to fight with her, and she said it was her fault. He said something, so she slapped him. He went off on her, but apparently she said she got some good shots in. But the fact that she let this snot physically abuse drove me up a wall, and that's where the self-confidence is up. And Joe Lee used to talk. Your attitude should be, dare this person try to hurt you. And I don't know how people get this idea. Oh, my fault. I antagonized them. I don't care what you did. Anything short of a physical strike or threat of a physical violence, it's not your fault. And that's why I do what I do, because there's people like that out there.
Yeah. I look at this, and I look at the vocation that we're in. Mm-hmm. We do it only because we love the art. We do it because we love the community that we're in, and we want people to be safe. That's the reason why I continue teaching it. You know, I started this walk on this road when I was 6 years old. Wow. I'm going to be 6 next month, so that's 50 years of doing Salat. You know.
Wow.
So you know, when you look at stuff like that, and I've met a lot of great people, and from there, of course, went into the Kempo realm and into other arts as well. And you respect each one as they are and what they're for and what you can use.
Yep.
And I've always respected each one in his own trajectory, but that's beside the point. Mm-hmm. What I'm getting at is the reason we keep teaching is because there's so many people out there that the good book says you protect the weak, the meek, right?
Yes.
It doesn't say you protect the wimps. Protect the meek and the weak. Okay.
Yeah.
And weak means fragile. When you have somebody that's fragile, they might be courageous, but they're just fragile. They might learn how to defend themselves, and they can get better with that, and so on and so forth. But I'm going to take it on the other word, and I don't like using it that much, which is a wimp. And those are people that can be 6'4", and they have no heart, no courage whatsoever, and they're going to cry, and they're just going to turn around, and you see that time.
Yep. And they're the ones who get picked on.
It doesn't matter what martial art they take. They're never going to have that courage to cross that line when you have to defend somebody for reality. And it just happens. It's just the way it is.
That comes from the training and the self-confidence of not only can you do this, you have to do this to protect yourself. You are perfect. And that's, again, that's why a lot of parents bring their kids to us, is to build self-confidence.
Absolutely.
And it absolutely breaks my heart when I see that. And, you know, you see it, they can't even look at it. And a few years later, brown belts or black belts. Look at where you came. And that's what makes it all worthwhile.
Absolutely. And you see that all the time. I see that here all the time. Once a week, you see they walk in there with their heads down. Mm-hmm. And sometimes they start walking up with that confidence, start talking, they start picking up their head, they start becoming more extrovert instead of introvert. Mm-hmm. And now they pull them out and put them and do something else. I go, they're not ready. You know, you're like, okay. And then something happens and they say, oh, what you taught them didn't work. Yeah. No, that's microwavable stuff, you know, stuff that you need to try.
Yeah, you didn't make it work. That's what Planet says. So this doesn't work. No, you didn't make it work.
You didn't make it. That's exactly right. I've heard that before by Planet.
Everything works at proper timing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Now, here's something. We're running out of time, but what would you say to that one person that's seeing this and kind of says, you know what, I'm looking about joining self-defense. What should I do? How should I look for the school? What should I look for?
Good. Well, first thing is get on the internet, check out the qualifications, and absolutely watch your class. See what's going on, see if it looks real or not, and don't be afraid of comparison shop. And I don't mean dollar shop. I mean comparison shop. How are they training? Are they sweating, or do they walk out of the class looking better than they walk in? Does it look like it's a system environment? Do they have proper mat? Do they have proper equipment? Do they have insurance? Do they make spar with equipment on? When do you get to spar? I don't let belt spar. They just develop bad habits. They don't know enough to do it. And are they doing drills? Are they doing busy work? And then check out the instructor qualifications. But the biggest thing is watch class and see what it looks like. And
absolutely.
What I hate people say is, oh, we're going down the street where it's cheaper. And my standard answer is, you get what you pay for.
Absolutely. You get what you pay for. You know, there's a lot of schools, and I'm going to put it out there. There's a lot of schools out there that sell rank left and right. And they're selling rank. And listen, I'm not making fun of them whatsoever. They have to pay. They have to feed their own family. But look at the quality of who's teaching, what they're teaching, and how they're being, and what's the response time.
Yep.
And response, I mean, is are they learning?
Mhm.
Are they being effective about it? Is
Right.
it a place that you're going to be learning? Are they teaching you physically,
Mhm.
or
Are
are they?
Yeah, are they
You know,
teaching it to you, or are they showing it to you?
right?
Okay,
Absolutely.
what is that? Like Bruce Lee's 3 levels of a punch. A punch is not a punch, and a punch is a punch. Huh? Well, if you ask somebody who's never done martial arts, what's a punch? You take your hand and you hit somebody with it. Now you start training. What's a punch? Well, you start with your palm like this, and then you turn it over on the moment of impact and you hit with those 2 knuckles. Now you get that down, and it's second nature. What's a punch? You take your hand, you hit somebody.
And I'm going to tell you something here. And I'm going to earlier this summer, I ended up with a couple of kids that came in, and they've been in another place. One had been there for about 6 years. The other one had been there for about 4 years.
Wow.
Both of them were wearing blacks. One was 11, the other one was 9, going on 10. 2 brothers. And their thumb, and they were punching this like this.
Of course, yeah.
Punch this way, and I go, "What are you doing?" I go, "That's the way we punch." And I told them, punch. Close the fist. Punch. And their older cousin came to train, and he was 16, another black belt, same school. And the first thing he did, I told him, "Put your hands up." So I knew it wasn't them being sloppy. That's what they were being taught.
So
and I just looked at it and I said, when I corrected them, they didn't like that I corrected them. So I guess I didn't get them, but that's just the way it is.
Well, they were black belts. You tell them what to do.
Black belt, they know what to do, so understand that, and
So if they knew everything, why would they still at the other school? My experience is after black belt, they run to the thing to teach. And they're not doing it properly. And I compare that to I was teaching at a Lifetime Fitness, and I was starting to train the trainer while I'm teaching there. Hey, on the side, and people would walk with not a clue what to do. And it's like getting thrown into the class introductory lessons. They walk into the gym and look, you see this room. I don't have a clue what to do with it. Do onboarding with you? What's that? Why are you here? First question we ask people: why are you here? Oh, I want to. Okay. Much experience do you have? None. And whenever good, then I don't have to make mistakes.
You're absolutely correct. You said that. How much experience you have? None. And I don't have to fix things. That's exactly right.
Mm-hmm. Start at the beginning. Put your hands up. Make a fist.
Not like this.
Yeah.
And and I'm not making fun of that. It's just the way they were taught. And I'm like, I look at it and I'm saying that type of behavior in the schools makes all the schools look bad.
Exactly. That's why you're not making fun of the people that selling magazines. Why not make the rest of us look bad? I've had people say to me, I teach martial arts. Oh, I already know that. Really? Explain 3-dimensional power. Huh? And yeah, you can't hold a student from doing what he was taught to do. But from studying chemistry, at some stage, you should say, why am I doing this? The last few privates I had said, whatever it is, set self-defense technique, don't tell me what you're doing. Explain why you're doing it. You take the delayed sword, punch. Okay, I'm going to step back, increase the distance, do a right hammering inward block to the inside because I couldn't get to the outside, below the elbow because if it's below the elbow, then that's the punch. On the inside, what's the rule? Cancel the kick in the groin. Reverse the motion from the neck. So at some level, you should be asking, why am I doing this? What is it? I love it when I get other Kempo students from other Kempo schools. One of my first experiences was, he said, I'm having trouble with short three. Show me. I said, what are you doing here? What do you mean? Show me the first move. What are you doing? I don't know. Well, that's the problem. You don't know. They were taught a form, but not the application. I said, dancing around.
You're absolutely correct. It's a why. And it's, why am I doing it after a while? Why are you teaching? And a lot of teachers out there, yeah, you can make money, but you're going to be dishing out a lot of money inside as well. And believe me, you're going to get, you can make a living. I've seen a lot of people make very good money out of martial arts out here, but it's also on why. Do you just want to make the money? Because making the money out there is not going to make fighters or people that can defend themselves. Just going to make a bunch of people running around. You can sell rank left and right, or are you actually putting something down that is going to be passed on as a tradition?
Yep.
And that's basically what it is. And I don't blame those people, because a lot of those people were like Flanders always told me, they were taught wrong. They don't understand. They continue since their people, and so you have to correct them one way or another.
Right.
And sometimes I get people that come in that want to learn, but if you're not correctable, you're never going to learn.
Yep.
And I think that's what everything else. And that goes back to the question everybody should say: if you're going to learn self-defense, why are you going to learn self-defense?
Yeah, or who you learn to defend against. Because I've had women come in and say, I want to learn how to defend myself, but I don't want to be in a class full of guys. Who are you practicing to defend yourself against? And I get a blank stare and say, who you think is more likely to attack you, a man or a woman? Yeah, whatever it is, get over it. Like, I had a girl, you're going to love this. An adult blue belt said to me after class, I think it should be mandatory that everybody gets a towel in class. And I said, huh? She said, well, these guys are all sweaty and I don't like it. And I said, really? Do you think the guy who attacks you is going to care if he's all sweaty or not? She's like, yeah, get over it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You said it.
Training. Work with people you don't want to work with. And what does the Army say? You might not like that guy, but he might save your life someday. And you might have to share a foxhole with him. So you don't have to like him. Just get along with him. And again, that's what takes your martial arts lessons over to the real world, which is get along. You don't have to like them. Be polite. Get along with them. Work with them. I mean, how many people we had bad partners at seminars? It's
all
like,
the time, all over the place. And sometimes you're like, and sometimes later on you become the best friends.
Yeah.
And it's just the way it is. And it brings out so many questions and so many different ways we can go with this. But getting back on self-defense, people need to realize one thing: the reality of the world out there, and it's cruel. And if they think that they're going to dial 911 and the police miraculously are going to appear, it's not going to happen.
Right.
Usually a 911 call is answered in distress anywhere between 3 to 7 minutes. And a minute has 60 seconds. A lot of things happen in a very short period of time.
Look at the Trump assassination attempt. Less than 30 seconds. It all happened. Yep.
Less than 30 seconds. You're absolutely correct. So you have to understand how you're doing it and what you're doing it for and how you have to be. But also be self-defense techniques that you learn. You have to also understand what you need to do after that. And that's a different ballgame.
Yeah. And again, that goes back to reality. Like, that's why when we're doing weapons defense, you don't spit on the guy and say you deserved it. Okay. You just stand there, disarm, and wait for the good guys to come.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, brother, time. It's good to see you again.
See you too. I like
Oh, thanks. Those are some of my paintings. Got Anthony here and Cheech and Chong. I don't know who I got Baby Blue Eye.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah. I saw Cheech and Chong live back in the 80s. Yeah. Never laughed so hard in my life.
They told me that Chong's daughter, what's her name? Dawn Chong was a Kempo girl in California. Really? And I was like, I was going to ask Frank, but and they told me that. So I'm pretty sure somebody will know about it.
Yeah, sounds good.
All righty. So much peace. We'll see you guys later.
Yes, sir.
And for you guys out there, like it, share it, and make some comments. Until next time, much peace. Have you ever wondered about what happens in a martial arts studio? Well, you start right away by setting goals, building determination, gaining focus, building skills, all while becoming more fit, gaining confidence, and learning self-defense. Buitron Academy is a school where attitude meets aptitude. So give us a call at 956-401-4868.